She's like the ultimate rebel from ancient Britain, a game-changer who wasn't afraid to stand up to the mighty Romans. A fierce warrior queen leading her people in a revolt against oppression, fighting tooth and nail for their freedom. Boudica's story isn't just history, it's a wild ride full of bravery, betrayal, and battles that shook the empire. So let's dive into the story. Roman invasion of Britannia. In 43 AD, Roman Emperor Claudius sought to expand the Roman Empire by targeting Britain, a land perceived as wealthy and promising. The allure of new territories and resources drove this ambitious move. However, the invasion faced significant challenges, especially from the local Celtic tribes who fiercely resisted the Roman takeover. The Celts, deeply rooted in their traditions and connected to their land, were formidable opponents. Despite the Romans' advanced military tactics and organization, they were not easily subdued. The initial invasion saw the Romans landing on the southern coast of Britain, where they encountered various Celtic tribes, each determined to defend their homeland. The fierce resistance was marked by numerous battles and skirmishes, highlighting the Celts' valor and strategic prowess. One notable leader, Caratacus, emerged as a symbol of Celtic defiance. His resistance against the Roman forces became legendary, even after he was eventually captured and brought to Rome. The Celts' resilience made the conquest more complex. The Romans had to adapt their strategies, build fortifications, and establish a network of roads to maintain control over the newly acquired territories. Despite these efforts, the conquest of Britain was a prolonged and arduous process. It took several decades for the Romans to consolidate their power entirely. Establishing Roman rule in Britain brought significant changes, including introducing Roman laws, customs, and infrastructure. However, the spirit of Celtic resistance remained, influencing the region's culture and history for centuries. The Roman conquest of Britain is thus a testament to the enduring struggle between indigenous cultures and expansive empires. The Rise of Boudicca. Before delving into Boudica's story, it's essential to understand the Celtic culture. In this society, strong women often led tribes, which was unusual. Women held significant power and were respected as leaders and warriors. This cultural backdrop set the stage for Boudica's leadership. Boudica was the wife of Prasutagus, the leader of the Iceni tribe in present-day Norfolk. The Iceni were known for their fierce independence and had previously rebelled against Roman rule. Prasutagus sought to secure autonomy for his people by allying with Rome, but his arrangements were not honored after his death. Under Prasutagus' death, the Romans disregarded his will, which stated that his kingdom should be divided between Rome and his family, including Boudica and their daughters. Instead, the Romans seized complete control, annexing the kingdom and treating the Iceni harshly. Boudica herself was publicly flogged, and her daughters were violated, actions that deeply outraged the Iceni. This gross mistreatment and the violation of her family's rights spurred Boudica into action. With the support of her tribe and other discontented tribes, she emerged as a formidable leader, determined to avenge the injustices inflicted by the Romans. Under her leadership, a large-scale rebellion was orchestrated to expel the Roman occupiers from their lands. Boudica's story is not just one of personal vengeance, but also the broader resistance of the Celtic people against Roman domination. Her leadership and the subsequent rebellion highlighted the strength and resilience of the Celtic tribes in the face of oppression. The spark of rebellion. The Roman historian Tacitus documented the brutal treatment of Boudica and her daughters by Roman soldiers, which ignited the fury of the Iceni tribe. According to Tacitus, Boudica was flogged, and her daughters were violated, sparking outrage among her people. This act of cruelty, compounded by the Romans' confiscation of Iceni lands and properties, pushed the tribe to the brink. Another historian, Dio Cassius, highlighted that the rebellion was also fueled by the oppressive Roman demands and the unfair treatment of the Iceni, who were subjected to heavy taxes and forced labor. Boudica's impassioned speech to her people became pivotal in the uprising. She eloquently addressed the injustices they had endured, emphasizing their shared suffering and the need for vengeance. Her words resonated deeply with the Iceni and other tribes, uniting them in a common cause against the Roman occupiers. Boudica's speech not only reflected the collective grievances of her people, but also ignited a fierce desire for revenge, transforming their anger into a robust and coordinated rebellion. The revolt, characterized by its intensity and scale, saw the Iceni and their allies marching against Roman settlements, including Camulodunum, modern Colchester, Londinium, London, and Verulamium, St. Albans. These cities were targeted for their symbolic and strategic importance, and their destruction sent shockwaves throughout Roman Britain. Boudica's leadership and the shared determination of the Britons to reclaim their freedom marked a significant chapter in the resistance against Roman rule, showcasing the profound impact of her defiance and the enduring spirit of the Iceni. The attack on Camulodunum. Boudica's first major target was Camulodunum, a former capital of the Trinovantes, and now a Roman stronghold. This city, once proud and showcasing Roman power with a grand temple dedicated to Emperor Claudius, became a focal point of native resentment. Roman colonization brought exploitation and displacement, leading to widespread bitterness among the local tribes. Quintus Petilius Carialis, leading the Legio IX Hispania, attempted to defend the city but faced a disastrous defeat. Boudica's forces, composed of the Iceni and their allies, overwhelmed the Roman defenses with sheer numbers and ferocity. The Roman infantry was decimated, with only the commander and his cavalry managing to escape. The city was left to the mercy of the rebels, who destroyed it with thorough and brutal efficiency. Camulodunum's fall marked a significant victory for Boudica. It was a military triumph and a powerful symbolic blow against Roman authority. The destruction of the temple dedicated to Claudius epitomized the rebellion's goal to dismantle the symbols of Roman oppression. This victory galvanized further support for Boudica's cause, drawing more tribes to her side. The defeat at Camulodunum sent shockwaves through the Roman administration. Governor Suetonius Paulinus, engaged in campaigns elsewhere, realized the severity of the uprising. The massacre at Camulodunum demonstrated that the rebellion was not a mere insurrection, but a formidable challenge to Roman rule. This marked the beginning of a series of clashes that would test the resilience and resolve of the Roman occupiers, and the native tribes fighting for their freedom. Destruction of Londinium. After the conquest of Camulodunum, Boudica directed her forces towards Londinium, then a bustling trade hub of the Roman Empire. News of the impending attack quickly spread, inciting fear and chaos among the inhabitants. The wealthy and traders, valuing their lives and possessions, fled the city en masse, leaving it largely undefended and vulnerable to the impending onslaught. The rebels, driven by vengeance and a desire to reclaim their land from Roman rule, descended upon Londinium with unbridled fury. What had once been a vibrant and thriving city was engulfed in flames and devastation. The rebels destroyed everything in their way as they rampaged through the streets with no mercy. Structures that symbolized Roman power and prosperity were reduced to smoldering ruins. The cries of the city's inhabitants filled the air as the rebels unleashed their wrath. Those who remained behind faced brutal slaughter or were driven out, leaving behind a scene of desolation. Once bustling with commerce and activity, the streets now lay silent, covered in debris and the charred remnants of buildings. The spirit of Londinium, a beacon of Roman civilization in Britain, was utterly crushed under the rebels' relentless assault. The Aftermath of Londinium. In the aftermath of the destruction, Boudica and her daughters, covered in ash and blood, surveyed the devastation. The landscape around them bore the scars of their fierce rebellion. Buildings lay in ruins, smoke rising from smoldering remains, while the air was thick with the acrid scent of charred wood and the distant cries of the wounded. The once proud city of Londinium stood as a testament to the ferocity of Boudica's uprising, its streets littered with battle remnants. An eagle flying towards the setting sun caught Boudica's eye. Its majestic flight symbolized both their victory and the looming shadow of Roman revenge. The bird's path westward hinted at the uncertain future that awaited her people. Would this day be remembered as the dawn of their freedom, or as the prelude to an even harsher Roman crackdown? Boudica's heart swelled with a mix of triumph and foreboding. She had struck a blow against their oppressors, but at what cost? The blood of her people had been shed, and the Roman Empire, known for its relentless pursuit of retribution, would not forgive easily. The question lingered heavily in her mind. Had her actions truly freed her people, or provoked further Roman wrath? Only time will tell. The Roman assault on Anglesey. While Boudica's rebellion raged, Governor Gaius Suetonius Paulinus focused on conquering Anglesey, a Welsh island spiritually significant to the Celts. Tacitus depicted Anglesey as a sanctuary for those resisting Roman rule, including Druids and rebels. The Romans faced a daunting sight, a formidable assembly of warriors and Druids. The Druids, dressed in black and with wild hair, invoked their gods, chanting and raising their arms, attempting to terrify the Roman soldiers. Despite the eerie and formidable scene, the disciplined Roman legions, known for their rigorous training and battle-hardened resilience, launched their attack. The initial terror inspired by the Druids quickly gave way to Roman military efficiency. The Romans overwhelmed the defenders with their superior tactics and organization. The defeat of the resistance was swift and decisive, and the Romans secured control of Anglesey. The victory was a strategic gain and a psychological blow to the Celts, severing a significant spiritual and rebellious stronghold. The conquest of Anglesey by Suetonius marked a critical moment in the Roman subjugation of Britain, demonstrating Rome's determination to crush resistance and expand its empire, even amid the fierce and widespread rebellion led by Boudica elsewhere in Britain. The Battle of Watling Street. With Anglesey subdued, the Romans swiftly redirected their focus to Boudica's fierce uprising. A seasoned general, Suetonius Paulinus marshaled his forces, bringing together the formidable Legio XIV Gemina, segments of the 20th Valeria Victrix, and auxiliary troops amassing a force of nearly 10,000 men. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the Romans braced for a crucial confrontation at Watling Street. The disciplined Roman soldiers, renowned for their rigorous training and tactical prowess, formed under the battle standards, including the symbolic ram, emblematic of their strength and resilience. Suetonius carefully chose a narrow battleground flanked by dense woods, minimizing the advantage of Boudica's vast numbers. Boudica, leading a massive coalition of British tribes, sought to crush Roman dominance. Her army, fueled by a genuine desire for revenge and freedom, vastly outnumbered the Roman legions. The stage was set for a historic clash, with Boudica's forces stretching across the horizon, determined to drive the invaders from their land. As the battle commenced, the Roman soldiers stood steadfast, their disciplined formations and superior tactics proving crucial. Despite the overwhelming odds, Suetonius' strategic insight and the Romans' unyielding discipline turned the tide, securing a decisive victory against Boudica's rebellion. The Clash of Armies. As the two armies readied themselves for the impending clash, each leader stirred their troops with different approaches. Boudica's fervent oration resonated with promises of vengeance for freedoms lost and kin violated. Meanwhile, Suetonius opted for a pragmatic and rousing speech, instilling in his soldiers the importance of steadfastness and disciplined combat. Using the landscape to their benefit, the Romans strategically positioned themselves against a dense thicket, thwarting potential flanking maneuvers from the Britons. As the enemy charged forward fervently, the Roman legionnaires stood firm, their resolve unyielding. They weathered the initial onslaught with disciplined ferocity before mounting a decisive counterattack, shattering their adversaries' disorderly ranks. In the chaos of the battle, in the clash of swords and the thunder of hooves, the Romans demonstrated their superior training and tactical prowess, turning the tide of conflict in their favor. The aftermath of the battle. The Battle of Watling Street marked a pivotal moment in history, with the disciplined Roman legions emerging triumphant over the larger but less organized British forces. In the chaos of the battlefield, blood flowed freely, claiming the lives of thousands of Britons, including women and animals, as the Romans showed no mercy in their quest for dominance. Yet, victory came at a heavy price, prompting reflection on the human toll of conquest and the brutal realities of war. Though the rebellion led by Boudica had been quelled, her legacy as a fierce symbol of resistance against oppression endured. Her unwavering defiance against the might of the Roman Empire echoed through the ages, inspiring future generations in the ongoing struggle for freedom. The Battle of Watling Street reminds us of the sacrifices made and the indomitable spirit of those who dare to challenge tyranny. These are the details on the rebellious British heroine. What do you think about her character and empire? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. So, for more interesting historical stories, hit the subscribe button to our channel, like and share the video, and I'll see you on the other side.